Welcome, beautiful humans, to week 2 of HPA Open House. It's an exciting one. Tonight, we're going to be going into mission, vision, the culture. It's going to be really nice. But first, let's breathe and get rid of all that other stuff so we can open ourselves up to some other stuff. We're going to do just a couple rounds of conscious connected breathing, just like before, a nice continuous loop of breath in and out of the mouth. If you want to breathe in your nose and out your mouth, you go right for it. You're the master, you're the guru, you're the director of your own experience. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So I invite you to close your eyes, get comfortable in your seat. If you need to move, shake, do anything to get you more into your body, please do that. Please do that. And as we get a little bit more in the body, let's take a couple of deep breaths and make some sounds because it feels really nice. Inviting you to take a nice deep breath in as big as you can. Make a sound. Nice deep breath in. Exhale with a smile. One more time, nice deep breath in. Let's hold it this time. Hold the breath. Maybe pull it up a little bit. And make a sound as you exhale. With your eyes closed, just taking a moment to really tune in. Notice what your body feels like, allowing your energy and awareness to drop a little more to your pelvis. So giving your body the attention that it deserves. And together we'll breathe, create a beautiful container where we can share this beautiful call and some beautiful energy. Inviting you all now to take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax. Here we go together. Deep breath. Exhale. Full breath in and relax. Deep breath. Letting go. Full breath in. Let it drop. Nice deep breath. Exhale. Full breath in and letting go. Really good. Keep it going just like that. Always for the first round, giving yourself an opportunity to get connected to the rhythm, remaining curious, seeing how it feels to breathe for you tonight. Taking a bit of a deeper breath than normal, a slightly faster breath than normal, so there's a bit of activation, a bit of stimulation as you move that energy down into your belly, up into your chest. Probably now already starting to notice that subtle shift. This beautiful dance and wave of moving breath in and out of your body. Just feeling into every part of the breath, that wave that moves in and out. Really nice, everyone. The final few breaths of this first round. If you'd like, you can make these next few breaths a little deeper and bolder if that is feeling good for you. Then inviting you to finish your next breath with a slow exhale, just let it go. Taking one more deep breath in all the way up. Exhale, relax, just let it drop out, and then hold your breath after the exhale. Holding your breath with your lungs gently empty. Relaxing. Remaining present with the internal dance. Holding for just a little bit longer. We'll breathe again in 3, 2, 1. Taking a nice deep breath in as big as you can, all the way up. Feeling it from the root rise all the way up in between your eyebrows. Holding that life force energy inside of you for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, relax. Really beautiful. Take a moment here before our second and last round, feeling into your body, maybe putting a smile on your face, noticing how that shifts the vibration immediately. And we'll breathe one more time together, inviting you to take a nice deep breath in, exhale. Here we go. Deep breath in, relax, full breath, exhale. Deep breath in, letting go, fully in, relaxing out. Deep breath up, let it go. Beautiful, keep it going. You know what to do. Turning that wheel of life, turning that circle of breath. I always like to invite on the second round, becoming more aware and welcoming of the amazing sensations that occur as we breathe. That tingling, that lightheadedness, the buzzing throughout your body as you open up all the meridians, the channels for chi and life force to move throughout you. As you just can revel in the amazement of having this opportunity to breathe into your body, but also to breathe in the presence of other humans that are on a similar mission, that share a similar vision, that are creating a culture that merges both business and spiritual embodiment, finance and life force. Breathing into that for these last few moments. And then inviting you to finish your next breath with a slow and gentle exhale. Just let it go. One more deep breath in, as big as you can. Exhale, relax nice and slow. Holding the breath at the bottom. I'm going to give you an option to hold a little bit longer. Of course, if you need to breathe before I give the cue, you can. Otherwise, see how still, peaceful you can become, inviting in a state of equanimity and a deep presence for whatever it is that you feel in this moment now. Holding just a little bit longer. When we do breathe, I want you to breathe in that vision that you hold for your future. Breathing in 3, 2, 1. Breathe it in all the way up. Feel it move in and up your whole body. Hold that breath, that vision in your heart and your mind as you hold your breath. So much love. 3, 2, 1. Just let it go. Drop it out. Really nice. Keep your eyes closed. And again, put a little smile on the face. It really is such a powerful technology, the smile. With your eyes closed and your breath coming back into a normal pace for you, presencing yourself to the room, the container that we've created through some collective breathing, even more powerfully what we've created through our vibration, our willingness to step forward in our individual journeys that have brought us here together today, here and now, in the only moment, the present moment. Feeling your brothers and your sisters. We've chosen to be alive, to incarnate this time and place, to share stories, to heal wounds, to experience abundance, to go on courageous missions, to see into what seems like impossible visions, but we know that nothing's impossible when we create a culture together. So with that in your being, in your heart, whatever arose in you as I spoke those words, I invite you to open your eyes into this container that we create together. Thank you. Y'all bring out something in me. I don't know what to say. Um, yes, so let's get chatting about some mission and some vision and some culture. I'm gonna pass it off to Matthew, I believe. Yes, yes. So he's gonna speak about a bunch of awesome things. We're gonna show you some cool things. And I'm also just gonna say for myself, sometimes I get all like, oh my gosh, I gotta like impress these humans about this stuff. We're just gonna have fun. We might talk about chickens as well. Who knows?
Or the egg. Thank you, Lion. So today we are talking about HPA's mission, vision, and culture. And this is something that is so incredibly important for all businesses to have, even if you're a solo entrepreneur and you're just selling a product. You want to have a mission, a vision, and the culture that you're trying to create these frameworks of operating. And as you scale, especially one of our, I'll call her a mentor, even though she's not a direct mentor, but her name's Treya. I have really great conversations with her. And at a retreat I went to in Mexico last year with, actually 2 years ago now, technically, with Lion and Zoe, she was talking about the importance of having these like third party documents that people, for more or less, abide by. And one of the things that I was pretty, I guess I was like surprised and also not surprised at the same time, is she was talking about like make your mission statement and your vision statement bulletproof, ambitious, and if people don't fit into it, remove them. She was like A, B, C. If you want to get to where you want to go, those are the things that you do. And so it was slightly jarring, but also it made a lot of sense. And this is one of the things that has essentially been the foundation and framework for pretty much all successful civilizations that we know of, because it's what's called a republic. So the United States, for example, is not a democracy; it's a republic. And what that means is it means that there's a third party document that has this list of rules that do not change that you abide by. So we think of Christianity and the whole Western society. We think of ancient Egypt and the Book of the Dead. And you can go back in time memorial and the real legacy societies and civilizations, they all had a third party, unbiased, I guess dogma, for lack of a better word. I'm really trying to find a better word than that because it has such negative connotation, but that's what it is. And so we have spent quite some time over the entirety of our business ship formulating this mission, vision, and culture statements. And so we are super duper excited to share this with you for the first portion of our call. And then for the second portion of the call, we're going to go into basically talking about all of the things that are falling under ARC, underneath the academies, the retreats and experiences, and within the culture that we are and clinic that we are developing. Because there is oodles that is happening, and even more that is like just around the corner, maybe. So we're really, really excited to get into that. So how we're going to do this is I'm just going to do some quick reading. And basically, the way that this works between us three, and this probably won't come as a huge surprise once I lay this out, is Lion is about the mission. He's big time about the mission. How are we getting where we're going? Matthew, this will come as a big shock, is about the vision. What is this ridiculously large thing that we're trying to do? I'm that crazy guy. And Selena is the culture. And what does that mean? It means like Lion and I not getting caught up in our lofty thoughts about living in the year 4020 when it's 2020 and we actually need to like operate in certain ways. And so the culture is actually like the framework that the mission gets to work through to actually get to that vision. So I think I did a good job breaking those down. So I'm gonna share my thing. Yeah, thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Positive reinforcement. So I'm going to share this one here. Which one is it? This one? Yeah. Present. Did this work? Did it work? Can you guys see this? Nice. Okay. So we're going to start with mission. I'm just going to do a brief read here, and then Brian's going to, off the top of his head, just a lion, yeah, off the top of his head. I'm on it, man. I'm doing it, doing the thing. Is going to speak from his heart about the mission, because when you hear Lion speak about the mission, you're just going to get fired up to pull up your bootstraps and get building. So quite simply, our mission is to create a resonance and find equilibrium between financial and spiritual abundance. We believe that the wisdom of science and spirituality are just different manifestations of the same truth. And so we're here to create a new cultural paradigm within business, education, healthcare, and community that values connection and puts the quality of human lives first. Floor is yours, Lion.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So when I was a young boy, I saw the world and was told that like we're at the peak human civilization. And pretty early on, I was like, bullshit. What is it really to be the peak of human civilization? If you have all these resources and this material to be able to do things, but there isn't any heart or there isn't a representation embodiment of what it means to be human. And the mission here is really that. It's to recognize that yes, we have like all of this material abundance and there's all this capacity to rocket business, but what does that matter if we are not seeing each other as the most important thing, which is the human experience itself, the sharing of emotion, the sharing and connecting of energy and so really to recognize and bridge those worlds together to bring the heartbeat back into what it means to be a human is ultimately the mission. And I think and I know it's not something new. It's a reemergence. It's a recognition. It's a reigniting. It's like, there's a fire that has almost gone out. It's an ember, and we're gonna blow it back so it becomes a roar. So yeah, the mission is really to bridge these worlds, to recognize that it's like the Ouroboros, or it's like an infinity loop, and there's been a dam that's been placed there, and who cares if it's done intentionally, and who cares who did it? What matters is that it's been done, and we're not here to get all pissed off and upset about that. We're here to go, thank you for creating this issue for us to work on it and to address it. So that's how I would really, really bring that forward. We're here to bridge these worlds and recognize that, there's no, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to let go of this good or bad or right or wrong, but rather, how do we recognize the necessity to bridge these worlds? Not saying that capitalism is bad, or not saying, oh, we just need to be spiritual woo-woo, but how do we actually bridge these worlds and create them together? And we, of course, the mission, we have a beautiful idea of this, but it doesn't really happen without all of us together. That's also a really, really important part. There's not just one person who has the mission in mind. It's a co-created mission. It's a co-created thing that we do together. But ultimately, it's this bridging, this recognition, for me, the reemergence of the importance of the human experience in all of that.
Thank you, Lion. Guess I'll open up the floor just for a moment here. Not too long, but does anyone have any questions specifically for Lion or about the mission? We're going to do again mission, vision, and culture, and it might make more sense to have the questions then. But opening the floor, if anyone would like to do that. Going once, going twice, going three times. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next thing. Can you see the thing? Yeah. Okay, good. So the vision, I'm going to read from this and then I'm just going to talk from the heart. Our vision is to lead the way in a global renaissance of conscious living and embodied values. We envision a holistic, interconnected global community where education, medicine, finance, and interpersonal relations undergo transformative evolution. We're doing this through holistic healers, a new financial model, where we harness the vitality of money as energy and a culture that can acknowledge each individual as an indispensable and uniquely valuable part of the whole. So, what is the vision? I mean, the vision is, let me see if I can get my speaker view on. Is it speaker view? There we go. So the vision is pretty much what we all want, which is to like, I mean, if I'm really just like summarizing it, it's like not be surrounded by poison all the time, right? I don't want to eat poison. I don't want all these poison waves blasting my cells to pieces. I want to have a nice place where we can raise the next generation properly, have tons of chickens, and there you go. I got Zoe was looking down. I got you paying attention. Whoa, chicken. And ultimately live that life that we all envision, right? Like we go away and we go on vacation. We have these like little slices of pretend paradise for a little bit, and then we come back and it's just plugged back into the matrix. And literally, that's how we say it. I say I'm unplugging from the matrix when I go home to my escape in Rosslyn for a couple of weeks, and then I'm plugged back in. It literally feels like I'm like plugging this thing back into my head and like landing back, like, oh God, I got to do breath work just to not get cooked by all the radiation that's surrounding me. And so our vision is out, and I say our vision collectively is to unfuck the education, the health, and the finance industry and law and things while we're at it. It's huge. The anti-poison, exactly, not antidote, anti-poison. And so it's a huge mission. But honestly, when I look at this group of individuals that's on this call, it's like, what a firm foundation. Like, I've never seen such a powerful group of people united. Like, usually one person's over here, powerful, building their thing. They're like, yeah, I'll refer you clients. And like, I'll refer you clients. Never have I seen people like this come together. And one of the things that continues to blow my mind about HPA is that no one's doing it. Like, there are literally thousands of coaches in Vancouver, and they're all by themselves slash these little collaborations that they do. These guys might host a one-off retreat and then they separate and they go their separate ways. These people might host this one container and then they separate and they go their separate ways. No one else has gotten married like Celine Lyon and I did, signed an agreement that says what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, and committed to actually making something like this happen. And it blows my mind because the best part about what we're doing, and I'll really get into this later, and the whole pitch to everyone that wants to come in here and the pitch to you is that if you're an entrepreneur, you suck at most of what it means to be an entrepreneur. And you know how I know that? Because I do. I'm not good at most of it, but I'm the best at a couple things, just like you. And it just so happens that the things that I am terrible at, Lion's the best at, or Selena's the best at, or Zoe's the best at, or Lily's the best at, or Anthony's the best at, and they love it. I hate it. I suck at it. They love it. They're amazing at it. Great. Let's actually build this business together. And we all know, we've heard this, it's like you want to be good at everything, but if you really want to become a master, you do what you're excellent at. And when we're entrepreneurs, when we're coaches, when we're healers, we step into this world. Oh, I've got this great product. I'm just going to sell it. Or people go, oh, I'm going to get certified. I'm going to go get a certification and then I'm just going to hop into the world and everyone's going to buy my product, use me as a coach or a healer. And they discover that about 4% of their time is actually going into coaching. The other 96% is pretending to get clients online. The other 96% is doing cold reach out after cold reach out. The other 96% is, oh my God, I was supposed to do my taxes 2 months ago. The other 96% is all of these things. And so time and time again, I just keep getting astounded that we're actually doing it. And these calls, including the call last week, is literal proof. Like, look at the people in this call. So potent as individuals, successful as individuals, and here together in like, this is not a collaboration that we're doing. This is far more than a collaboration. This is unity that we're doing right now. And so the vision, honestly, which you all have heard me say this many times, is be committed to the vision but unattached to what it looks like. And so it's like, wait, how can I be committed to something and unattached to what it looks like? Well, honestly, and I said this last time, with all of us building this thing together, I don't even care what it looks like. It's going to be freaking awesome, whatever it is. I don't even want to put my own limitation on what that vision actually looks like. So I'm completely detached from what it looks like. All that I care about is that we have forward momentum month after month after month after month. And lo and behold, we are having forward momentum month after month after month after month. So I actually have a designated time to really go off about all the things that we're doing later. And so, for brevity's sake, I'm going to not continue doing that now, but I just want you all to know that you guys are my why. And the more that you show up, the more it ignites me to show up in the way that I always show up, that this planet desperately needs. So, thank you. And I'm super excited about the vision. Moving on to culture. This is going to be the call that you guys do not want to miss next week, right? Because after today, you're going to be like, wait, how the fuck are you guys doing all that stuff? And the answer is Selena. It's me, it's Lion, but the answer is Selena because I can bring things in all day. I keep throwing things in, but Selena actually builds it and like is a structure. It's like, oh, like that goes in this part and that goes here because otherwise I just have a pile of shit. She actually organizes it and makes it perfectly designed, and she's going to show you what we're doing. She's going to show you our back end for a few different reasons. One, so that you can see that you can do this too, but you can't because you're not Selena. And that should you decide to get on this side with HPA, feeling the safety of the level of system and structure that Selena has actually created. You're just going to get to hop in to this like, like safe. Like Lion and I are consistently talking about how like Selena doesn't like, how do Lion and I downregulate each other? Breath work, hugs, intimate conversation. How does Selena do it? She's like, guys, look, I made a thing. And we're like, oh, it's going to be okay. Time and time again. So that's going to be next week's call. I'm going to jump into the culture now. I am just chock full of energy after talking about that. So these are our values. So if you're coming in, these are the values that we got to go with. Courage, wisdom, compassion. You have to be a visionary, you have to be in integrity, and you have to be in the spirit of collaboration. We'll send you this later. So here's our culture. The first one is called a competency hierarchy. This is from Spiral Dynamics, if you're familiar with Spiral Dynamics, and this is how the yellow person thinks. This means that based on specific tasks, based on specific instances, immediately there's going to be a hierarchy of competency. And we all need to abide by this competency and know when it's time for someone else to step up and when it's time for other people to shut up. So for example, if we go out into the woods and we need someone to cut down wood, you guys shut up, you let me cut the wood. If we're going into talking about how to organize a business and operate at super high level and make sure everyone's happy, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Selena talk. You guys understand. There's the skill sets that we recognize in each other. And this is what allows us to actually be a leader instead of just a pretend leader. The second one, right after that, is emotions and business. Professional life is personal life. Treya stands by this all the time. There's no such thing as a work-life balance. It's all just life. One of our go-to mottos is hugs, not handshakes. And this isn't just some woo-woo hippie new age shit. This is actually based in neuroscience. When you hug someone for more than 10 seconds, you release oxytocin, the neurochemical for bonding, so you can actually negotiate with them. Emotions in business. And honestly, Selena, Lion, and I, we're in the middle of emotions right now within our business. And we've navigated these time and time and time again. Sometimes we're at each other's throats and we need to navigate that like as if we loved each other and wanted to build this for the rest of our lives. Sometimes I'm going through an emotion, or Selena or Lion, and we don't go like, hey, you said you were going to do your thing by the time that you said you were going to do your thing. What the heck? We're like, oh, wow, this person's really going it for right now. I'm going to hold you to that. And this is one of the things that I believe is going to separate the businesses in this age of Aquarius that make it from the ones that don't. People have so many options for where they want to work, so many options. The only businesses that are going to stand the test of time are going to be the businesses that choose people before profits. Learning from all cultures, religions, disciplines, and practices. The more that you research ancient practices and the more that you research modern day science, the more that you come to realize that they're all saying the same things, just in different tones and different messages. And you can find little nuggets over here that you can't find over here. To sum all of this up, there's a king in the Bible named King Solomon. He's the son of David. He's said to be the richest and wisest man that has ever existed. And what he did is he invited queens from all the different cultures and their religion into Jerusalem. And so he was said to be the wisest, smartest, kindest, richest man of all time. And I believe that he did it by doing what we're doing right now. We're not saying this is the way and I'm stuck in this thing. We're looking at the wide spread of different practices. Courage and humility. This one we had to refine recently. It was broken into some other ones. We've noticed that this combination of courage and steadfastness with humility is honestly the only way that you're going to make it. Not just within HPA, but honestly, I believe as an entrepreneur going forward in this age. You have to be fearless and at the same time humble. One of the things that we say is that if you want to get involved with us where we're at right now, you must be a contender. You have to be a contender. Otherwise, we are doing so much stuff and going at such a pace that if you're not in here to contend, if you're not here to call me out on my shit, I'm going to continue doing it. And so we need to constantly be contending and refining each other if we want to be the leaders of this incredibly ambitious vision that we have, which we do. The final one is limitless language. Limitless language. This basically means, and you can tie this into all of the other ones, like you're not going to come in here and be like, oh, like, I think that like what I want to do is like, maybe like if I can be good enough at it, I might like, it's like, no, you have to know what you're talking about and have limitless language, no limit mindset and no limits language. And of course, we have lots of programming around language. I speak with Selena, Lion, Lily, Zoe, of Anthony about this all the time, where we're constantly trying to refine what we're saying. We're trying to remove certain words from our dialogue all the time. And we do this as a group within a culture, and it really, really helps a lot. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Selena, and Selena's going to actually take the mic for about 10 to 15 minutes and talk a little bit about the structure of the culture and how it is that she's keeping Lion and I in check and regulated, and the systems and structures that she's been able to lay out, recognizing everybody's strengths and slotting them in appropriately.
Thanks, Matt. All right, so everyone's feeling really charged from Matt's words, really heartfelt from Lion's words, but like, let's just ground ourselves a little bit with the practicalness that I bring in. Back to the mission. We're basically we're basically holding people who want to step into their highest potential to their highest potential. That's the main mission. Anyone who wants to, anyone who chooses to, that they can reach it and that they can be supported in it. That's our number one mission. Our second one is to connect those who want to make that happen and to bring that together in a cohesive and collaborative type of way where we don't have to do it alone. As we talked about on our first call, that's like the biggest wound that all of us deeply feel. And you know what, the way forward to this new earth is collaborating. And so that's kind of the mission leading into the vision of the ARC. ARC, we'll get into that in a bit with the initiatives. We'll paint you the picture. We'll show you my flow charts. It'll be great. Just to revisit back into culture now. How do we do this? And to me, the most important thing is the lived experience of humans. Because what is life about? It's about experiencing the world. It's about learning from our mistakes. It's about becoming our best. And it's about interacting and seeing ourselves in each other and gleaning from that and growing from that and passing it on to the next generation. And so culture being the lived experience of people, the energy that is imprinted into our DNA, our blood, and our hormone system that gets passed on to the next generation. And how do we guide ourselves with culture? Yes, it is these one third party documents, something that I call a North Star, something that we are guided by, and we all look towards for guidance. We all head towards, and we agree that that is the North Star, because technically the North Star could be any star, but we have to collectively agree that it is. And so it is, right? Okay, so, and culture with these documents, you know, with these rules, how do we hold each other accountable to them? Well, yeah, it is the calling out and whatnot. So with this competency hierarchy, understanding that it's not about I am better than you. It's not about like who we know, right? Because the old world is all about, oh, it's all relationship networking, and that's the only way you can climb up, right? It's not, that's not the new world way. That's not what we're creating here. We're holding people to a high regard in the area that they are experts in the area that they thrive in the area that they sparkle in, so that we can each see the stars in all of us. And so with emotions in business, it's the new world way. We're tearing down the walls of separation of ourselves. We're bringing the unity and kind of bringing together the fragments of source. we're all little pieces of God, and when we come together and we bring ourselves together, our personal and professional self, then we can find unity in ourselves, and we can find unity with each other. And it's not an easy feat. Emotions, they get the best of ya. And what really matters is that in those moments of activation, that we can step into courage and humility, which is our other piece of culture. Courage to speak your truth, to be authentic to your voice, to tune in and honor what is true for you in your body, and to share it and to be seen in that way. But humility to know that you're not always right. You don't know everything. You don't have all the answers. And to be open to have your perspective changed and to have it influenced, and actually actively ask for it to be changed. It's like, please change my mind. Please help me see it your way. And that's how we can begin to really create true collaboration and find the North Stars together, right? Because even if Matt, Lion, and I have identified these, we may not have it right. And time again, we invite co-creation, and we invite refinement. So, and if there's any thoughts that come up, yes, we do welcome them as they come up for you afterwards, in private, whatever is more comfortable, more safe for you, because all of this is all about creating safety, because that's the forefront of our minds forever and ever and always. And yes, learning from different disciplines and all cultures, you know, current day society, what's the most painful thing to watch is the divisiveness of the world. It's the, oh, I am Republican and they are Democrat, and so therefore we cannot be friends, and there is no similarities between us. There is no gray zone, but we're actually welcoming all of it. We're saying everything's freaking gray zone. We can be both. We can be everything all at once. And by believing in that belief, we're leaning on Hermetic principles, which is still like learning from different cultures. Hermetic principles that says all is one, as above, so below, as within, so without. So really using that to inspire something that we haven't mentioned that's really deeply in our culture is called the and model. So in the beginning, when we were talking about like, what are we? Is it this or is it that? Is it binary language? And it turns out that it's both. The answer is almost always both. And so how do you move forward with that like paradox, essentially? it's very difficult for the human mind and the body to even compute or understand or hold, you know, the paradoxes. But our life is a paradox, and when we begin to accept that, it just gets to be more peaceful within ourselves and for each other. We can begin to accept other people for not seeing this new earth. We can begin to accept those who are in the low vibration, even though we're so up here. We begin to accept it all, and that's when we begin to really thrive, really be in our highest potential, and allow people to be on their own journey in their own time. And along with that is the language. You know, the and model is a language piece that we were talking about. And yes, I had the website open because there were a few more notes there, but then it just got closed for some reason. So I'm just opening it up. There were, within HPA, there are a few things that we use to create a hive mind, so that we agree that we use these references as frameworks of how we see the world, how we analyze situations, or compare things, right? Because the human mind loves to compare, loves to compartmentalize, loves to label. We are humans. Even though we're enlightened beings, we're still human. So let's entertain the human mind for a bit. And along with the and model, we agreed within this team here, this family here, that of course we talk about the 5 pillars of human potential a lot. There's that one body of knowledge, the financial, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. We agree that all 5 create a whole life. Paying attention to everything is needed, and most people just, you know, we bias to what we're naturally good at, and then we're fearful of what we're not so good at. And so in holding people to their highest potential, we reference the 5 pillars as a model, as a guide to see where we are at, like in our state, in our current timeline, time frame, timestamp, and then see where you want to move, and then we collectively share that, you know, be open, be vulnerable, and hold each other to it. Another 2 other pieces of body of knowledge frameworks that we use is like the polarity integration matrix. You may have heard Lion and Matt talk about this often. The unintegrated and integrated versions of the light and dark, masculine and feminine archetypes. There are 8 archetypes in total. It's a really fun, really fun framework that we often refer to and talk about and have used for our own personal growth. Even just yesterday, I was talking about where I'm at in the quadrants and what my journey is like. And it's just so useful. And we do have a program on it, but I'm going to leave that for later. And yes, so the last one is the scientific spiritual wisdom. Within that, we have learned to use spiral dynamics, which is a really fun tool that identifies, let's see, how different societies have organized themselves in terms of like their governance framework, what they're most interested in. And it has this little fun rainbow situation. If you're curious, you can look up spiral dynamics in the images. We see HPA in the, was it yellow? Yep, yellow positioning. So to quickly tell you about it, the United States is kind of like orange. They are very self-consumed, very like, oh, what's in it for me? Capitalism, individualism. Canada is very like, oh, socialist, let's help each other out. And they're very green, right? They're very community driven, very like, let's do handouts. HPA tries to position ourselves in the yellow position, where it's very competency hierarchy based, as well as holding the ands, holding the everything all at once and saying that it's okay, because the orange and the green are very binary still. Hope that landed. Great, thank you. Spiral dynamics, and was there any other piece? that needed to be covered. Oh, and human design. Oh my goodness, you'll hear us never ending talking about this. It's like the best system for finding your purpose, finding out who you are, finding out your karmic cycle. If you join us, we'll endlessly talk about your chart. But these are things that we share as our culture, right? These are the tools that we lean on that are outside of ourselves that help us become our highest self. And that's like the tools that we use to create an energetically safe container. And within the culture, the idea of safety can be done energetically and practically. Energetically, by using these frameworks, we can understand each other, our differences, and accept it and be like, oh, it's okay that Selena runs out of energy all the time and can't see the future possibility as much as Matthew does because she's grounded in this part of the timeline because she's meant to, she's designed to poke at all the things that are wrong with the picture, actually. And it's not a bad thing that she focuses on the negative sometimes because she's designed to do that. And I can lean on someone else to look at the possibilities, and I can lean on someone else to initiate and inform the humans because apparently people don't like to hear me. So, often, sometimes. But that aside, energetic containers, safe containers, understanding each other. That's where I'm actually getting at. So the safety is that we just collectively agree that shit's gonna hit the fan. We just collectively agree we've chosen the entrepreneur path, and it's not an easy path. It's like we hate our jobs, we didn't want to work for anyone else, so we started our own business. But it's not like you do less work this way. It's actually way more work, way more emotional, way more energetically taxing, and way more fun. But it can only be sustainable if we ground ourselves in safety and holding each other in accepting the lows so that we can fully enjoy the highs. And in accepting the lows is to let each other know about our traumas, let each other know about our childhood wounds, and so that we can collectively look out for them and say like, oh, I can recognize that you are in an activated state right now. So I am going to remove myself from this conversation for a second because you told me how you appear, how you show up, and you told me how you want me to respond to you when I see you activated. So I'm going to give you that space and honor that boundary. And that's what we're creating within our business is that kind of respect, that kind of transparency, that kind of openness, right? And yeah. So energetically, we know what to expect with each other, lay it out all on the table, and then accept that it won't always be high vibes and enlightened, right? Yeah. And then so practically, how do we do all this? Well, that's for next week. We've dove into it a little bit, the North Stars. There's way more to it. How we organize Google Drive, how we do nomenclature, as in how do you name the file so that other people can find it? How do you communicate, where to communicate, what's the appropriate time frame for turnarounds, things of that nature, the practical business side of making a real tight ship, a real good operation, still moving forward boldly and smoothly at the same time. So definitely tune in for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Selena. So good. Yeah, so many pieces that we're weaving together that allow for the differentiation of our unique designs and allow for the proliferation of the mission, right? Like, how do we actually bring forward this bridging? Well, we use all of these various systems and we bridge them together. But we want to thank you so much, Selena. Thank you all for your attention. Do we want to like have a quick little shake, little 2-second shake here before we get to the last part? Yeah, let's shake it out. Shake it out. Yeah. Ooh, so good.
Yeah, shake it like you mean it. Shake it like you mean it.
Ah,
Whoa.
ooh, yeah, baby. Make some sound. God's listening. Ah, okay, so want to transition into talking a little bit about our arc, making this little arc. I call on some humans to share their why they've decided to be a part of what we're doing. Definitely will. And probably get Matthew in here once more because Matthew's like this special kind of fire. He just like him and Anthony just yeah, it's so good. So with all of this that we've mentioned, our mission, our vision, the culture that we're creating, how are we really doing that? It is through the ARC, ARC, Academy, Retreats, and Culture. It's kind of like a play on words, like an arc, actually like a boat, because the way we see things, I think you'll agree that there is a metaphorical, perhaps literal flood that is occurring right now as the systems fall and the lack of integrity is very much revealed to us in healthcare and finance and education and food and like basically every industry. It's becoming very, very clear there's this huge lack of integrity and these systems are falling. And there's this metaphorical collapse of all that is occurring. And of course, it's been written for a long time. If you look into any sort of cultures that we are bridging, that we're bringing forward, especially like, Hinduism, the Yuga cycles, they talk about these cyclical patterns where we forget and we remember. And we're starting to remember. And as we remember, we're starting to see that these so-called systems that are in power are actually quite false. They're not true. They're holding something back from us that we know is possible, which is that we're energetic beings and we're here to bring forward and back that power. And anyway, so we're building this arc, this metaphorical boat, which is comprised of academy, retreats, and culture. So I just wanted to give you a brief of what that's about, and then chat, bring in some of the humans who have decided to join us on the arc. And before I do, one of the cool pieces, like an arc, like a ship, where imagine we're on the ship, there's this flood coming, and we all have our own kind of areas within that arc, our own distinct rooms. My room would probably be filled up with like a bed, a place for you to do breath work, and we can do some somatic movement. Whereas Matt's, I imagine, would be like, I don't know, exercise abilities everywhere, and then like some sort of mental resilience training room. What I'm trying to say is there's the capacity for us all to benefit from each other's medicine, from our expertise. And that's what the arc is really, really about, is this its place, not a physical place, but it coming together that allows us to offer each other our expertise, our medicine, through what we do. So in Academy, we have our Courage program, educating adults to live in a courageous way, basically to stop getting stuck by analysis paralysis and living in a state of courage, which allows them to act in the face of fear and also understand their biology and what's going on with their brain. And then our Youth Academy, which is probably the most exciting thing, which is really teaching kids their biology, their psychology, and then giving them a standing chance really against the current school system, which is, I won't go too deep into that, but I'm sure you all know to a degree what's happening in the current school system. And we've partnered and started to work with an amazing woman named Tasha, who has a huge following, and she's such an advocate for unschooling. So that's like Academy. It's really about education, both adults and children, and bringing forward this holistic approach to education, the 5 pillars of human potential, and what does it actually mean for us to be educated, not by a system that wants us to be employees, but by a culture that we created that allows us to be integrated into the earth, into nature, co-creating with each other. With retreats and events, we have our signature flagship event, Hika, and also we're running our first retreat that some of you probably know, Sacred Rhythms. The idea here, this is really like the thing that I get so stoked about, is bringing forward experiences that give people an opportunity to step into a container that's really designed for transformation. It's designed for potency. It's designed to understand, like, what does it mean to actually have a currency through energetic exchange through the human experience. So these really potent experiences that will involve dance, plant medicine, breathing, that allow us to elevate our vibration. And without sounding too woo-woo here, but really bringing that energy back into the earth. As some people talk about the grids, but bringing that energy back into the earth through celebration, through ceremony, through connection of those experiences. And then culture, oh my goodness, there's so many things going on. I'll just mention, like, we're starting up a clinic. There's probably going to be a media branch, and I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but it's very, very exciting. The culture really is what Selena mentioned, but it really started off as a clinic, but ended up branching into so many other things that we just called it culture. So as you can see, I haven't even gone into all the depth of it. There's really just so much going on. Whenever we explain this to people, they're like, wow, that's a lot. It's really ambitious. And it is. It's incredibly ambitious. And that's one of the main reasons why you're all here is we literally cannot do it by ourselves. It's not possible. That's why I'm always saying this vision is something that's held and created through more people who hold it with us, and with that, there's all these opportunities that coming our way for like land, for doing retreats, for connecting with incredibly powerful people like Tasha, Cam, who hasn't been on this call yet, Treya, like all these different humans, all these different possibilities, and calling you all in to be a part of that, because as there's more minds, as there's more attention to it, the timeline becomes more available. So on that note, now that you all have kind of a window into the arc, some of you know it better than others. I do want to call to a couple of humans who have, kind of they're bringing their medicine onto the arc. They're like building their rooms, and they've decided to work with us in one way or another. So I'm gonna call on, I feel like Anthony. Anthony, you coming here, man. Anthony's decided to really jump in full force with his gifts, and maybe Anthony could just share what that means for you and what you're bringing, and yeah, whatever actually you want to share in regards to coming on board the ARC and HPA.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Guys, I'm so stoked to be here. I'm just like the mission of Matt, when you said like unfuck everything, basically, that's like it's just looking at the state of the affairs of the world and just seeing that we can do so much better. And one of the driving forces in my own life for a long time was being outrageously frustrated with how much potential I knew and felt that I had, but wasn't able to express. And as I started to go on my own journey, I realized, man, like the reason I'm not expressing a lot of the potential that I have as a human being is this, this human with like this infinitely expansive consciousness and this massive potential, is that I'm bogged the fuck down by this crazy system and all the conditioning that I've been inundated with and all of the poisons metaphorically and literally in my life that just like dragged me the fuck down. And it causes us to collectively suffer. I'm a very compassion driven person. I'm very driven by a motivation to alleviate suffering for a lot of people. And dude, when I met you, Matt, it was just like, it was instantly, it's like this guy is doing the same thing that I'm doing, but he's smart enough to bring other people on board and do it together. There was like this moment where it's like, oh fuck, why didn't I think of that? or like maybe I did think of that, but just it was like, no, that's impossible. No one else is gonna want to come along for the ride, or no one else is brave enough to come along for the ride, or no one else is like has the wherewithal because we're all bogged the fuck down, right? So I feel so inspired and motivated to be alongside a group of people, and honored and grateful and like just in awe every day to be in this group of people who all want to make the world a better place using their unique gifts. There's that saying, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go long, you go with others. And I know that we're going to go long, man. Like, I know we're just going to take this super, super far. The thing that I'm kind of most like my little angle that I'm most passionate about is this concept of personal freedom. And I think I kind of alluded to this last time. A lot of the stuff that I've come to, when I'm bringing my medicine, a lot of my medicine came from a lot of suffering that I had to like drag myself out of, and I think I had this vision in my own head where it's like, how am I going to help the collective? And I wanted to put together this education platform. And when I told you guys about it, you're like, oh, that's the HPA archives. It's exactly what we were planning. It's just like every time I brought something up, an idea that I had, you're like, oh, we wanted to do this, but we didn't know how we were going to do this. And you want to do this. So let's just come on, do this. And we'll make it even bigger. We'll make it even more fun. And so I think, the reason that I'm so excited about this, aside from the fact that you're such an amazing group of people and we're all kind of moving in the same direction, is this feeling that when we are working together and we are supporting each other with our unique gifts, it just takes everything that you are and amplifies it like a millionfold. And it expands the potential reach, it expands the potential impact, it expands the potential period and this that's what it is we're exploring and expanding our human potential, and we're actualizing that in ourselves, and we're raising the bar for what that can mean for other people. And it's 100% why I'm on board with this. It's everything that I've ever wanted, but then with a bunch of other people who share that it's everything that they've ever wanted to. Hint of madness is it's like full blown madness, bro. I'm fully fucking mad. Like I'm fully fucking mad over this. Um and yeah, that's it. I mean, did you have any questions, anything like specifically that you wanted to know?
That's really good, man. Honestly, it's just from the heart. So what this is all about is like let it flow from the heart. That was so beautiful for me to like reminisce, because I do remember some of those first things, like, oh, you want to do that? Like, yeah. And that's a really actually great example what Anthony just said of the and model. It's like, well, why don't we, yeah, like you want to do that the way you want to do it? That is what the arc is about. It's not about, hey, you're now going to be part of what we do and you got to do it HPA way. You are HPA way. That's the point of all of this, which is so cool. It's like, is that what lights you up? That's what you love to do? That's how you want to do it? Please come and do it the way you want to do it, because the way you do it and the way you are is absolutely amazing. And not just speaking to Anthony, I mean all of you. That's exactly it. So anyways, I just got really excited about that. Yeah, brother.
And I want to speak to that too, because like the other experience, the reluctance that I had when you asked me to join in HPA, I was like, fuck no, actually. Like I was like, I love you guys. This is really, really cool. But like, no. Like I was like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm not gonna join this other thing that's gonna take away my vision for how I want to do things exactly how I want to do them. Because that's exactly what happened when I tried to collaborate with other people. I got bulldozed by people's brands. I got hijacked on my vision and did the thing that was in integrity with how I wanted to serve people. And this is the first time that I've ever experienced where it's like, no, this is genuinely collaborative. And it's like you have your full ability to shine entirely as you are, while also surrendering to something that's bigger than yourself. How do you, this is like, that's the Kabbalion, right? All paradoxes can be reconciled. You reconciled that paradox for me. It's like, how can you hold integrity with your vision and your creative uniqueness while also surrendering to a bigger vision and a group initiative that's like something that's like, whew, cool, man. You did it.
Yes. Wow. That's so good. Yeah, that's a really good example of rectifying or reconciling a paradox. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Um, Lily, do you want to jump in here as well? Lily has gotten really involved, which is very exciting. And do you want to, exactly the same thing, like speak from your heart? What has it been like for you? What are you bringing to this amazing experience?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I echo everything that Anthony said. Right on point. And what I want to bring to this, my share is, why did I decide to join HPA and the ARC? And my response to myself when I made the decision was, why not? It just didn't make any sense not to anymore. I, like so many of you, have walked the hyper-independent path for so long. And we've all come to a point where we've grown to a certain place where we've kind of hit a plateau. And the only way for us to up level to the next paradigm is to come together. So as I was tuning into my answer to say yes, and trust me, I had so much resistance. I kept saying no. I was screening Matt's calls. I was just like so much resistance because of programming and fears. What if I join this and I end up being controlled again, like I have in the past with corporations? What if I get my voice suppressed? What if everything that I've done up to this point gets completely stripped away from me? What if I get re-traumatized? There were so many questions and fears. But so I was tuning into this, really meditating on it. And this vision came through, which made me laugh. And the way that I saw it was all of us are like cells in the human body, individual cells, except that none of these cells are working together. We're all doing our own thing. One cell's here, one cell's there, one cell's just like, you know, silent, one cell's blasting away, getting all chaotic, but we're all doing something completely different. And now the human body, this whole system is completely messed up, and it just didn't make any sense. And that's why there's so much dis-ease, because we're supposed to work together within this fabric, this tapestry. We're all a piece of that, which made so much sense. Like, it really reinforced the idea when human design was brought to my attention by Lyons, Selena, and Matthew. And this was another, this was another, this is like another event where I found it really funny, because we have all been very confused about what we're supposed to be. I know I have. I did everything that was against my human design for decades. I'm supposed to be with community, and instead I decided to be a lone wolf, and I was like, wore that like an honor badge. And that's why I kept suffering. And then now we have this human design, this manual that the creator literally transmitted through a human being to give to us. And I could, like, the voice is here, hey guys, here's the rules. Get your shit together. Learn your design. Learn who you are, learn your character, learn your place, learn your role, learn your purpose, your path. And now let's come together and bring some cohesion and collective collaboration and harmony back into the world. So as all of these messages came through, it only made sense. So there was just no logical reason for me to say no anymore. And to add on to that, ever since I joined, everything in my life has just amplified, increased. I feel so held and supported by every single individual that is skilled at what he or she does. And it's actually allowed me to individuate even more, because now I have all these mirrors that are showing me, here's what you're good at, here's what you're not good at, and here's where we can help you get good at those things. And we're here with you. We're here fanning your fires. We're here just encouraging and motivating and being your biggest cheerleaders. And I'm just grateful. I'm immensely grateful to be here.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you, Lily. Ooh, chills. I really like that part of like I mean, it's one thing for me to say like, yeah, like I've always wanted to do this and I'm taking the risk because like I'm one of the founders, but I really feel what you're saying. And I think that is such a poignant thing to say, that, you know, we all want to work together in this way, and why not? It's being presented to us. That's really what, like, why I chose to, you know, be married, as we say, to Matt and Selena, to Matthew and Selena. Is like, I want it so bad. Like it's right in front of my face. Um, I don't want to be scared anymore. I want to be freaked out about going after what feels like the most important thing in my life. And I do believe that, you know, energy doesn't dissipate, that we reincarnate. So why not? Why not jump in there and do the thing and be with other humans, not be a lone wolf? Just because, you know, it's way more fun. Thank you, Lily. Thank you so much. That was beautiful and invigorating.
Thank you.
Okay. Lion, I was wondering if I could I have to jump off in about 5 minutes, but I just wanted to say a couple of words.
Yeah,
So
jump in there, brother.
I might not look that old, but I kind of saw a lot of this happening to our culture as a whole, like way back in the 90s when I was in my 20s. And I was like, this is never going to happen. They're not going to take us down like this. And then as I saw 2020 approaching, I was like, holy fuck, this is getting pretty dicey. And I've always been a freedom fighter and always done things differently and always been a rebel, bit of a lone wolf. And yeah, when COVID hit, I saw a lot of society collapse, and I saw the cream of the crop sort of bubble up to the top and find each other. It was really exciting, but I wasn't ready for the change yet. So I went on a journey for like 2 years to Mexico and traveled around and did my own thing. And I finally came back to Vancouver and I was ready to find like a community. And I was really looking for this hard, not forcing it, but man, it was a desire. And when I saw you guys, and there's a few others in the community too that I think I really want on board, but we'll see if they come. Yeah, when I saw you guys, I was like, holy fuck, a whole bunch of freedom fighters, heart-centered, leading with love, compassion, understanding, and like open hearts. I was like, is this for real? And yeah, as I got closer to you guys, it's like, yeah, that resonance that Lily was talking about. I've just been starting to interact with your group just recently. And honestly, maybe it's the vibration of the planet, maybe it's the vibration of the community. And I think it's a lot with this vibration here. My life and the resonance has gotten so much better. And to see, yeah, a whole bunch of freedom fighters with this much of an open heart come together and build the new age, I'm just fully on board. I was already onto the childhood education stuff, alternative. I'm all up to, like, I really want to build alternative pathways for everyone. So the alternative education, alternative food, alternative technologies, energy production. I'm so stoked to build this with you guys. And I think where probably I could help the most is I'm a science tech guy, but with like a wide open heart. And I know I'm wrong, like, more often than not, but I have a deep curiosity for understanding stuff. And like, I'm here to help anything biology, chemistry, physics, computers. I love figuring out how things work on like that fundamental level so we can play with it and make it happen even bigger and better and kind of get the most out of everything on like that technical level. And I think where I'm weakest is relational. Like, I get super nervous and can get really frightened in front of big groups of people. I almost died. It's almost 18 years ago now, but I probably couldn't really interact with people till about 10 years ago, which sounds weird. But so I've just been on the really 8 years ago, I think, is when I finally started reintegrating. And so I'm kind of in my second life right now. And yeah, I'm just so stoked to be here in a safe container, bunch of heart-centered people, and everyone with like independent visions and a combined vision together to just rise together. So thank you. This is unbelievably exciting.
Man, you're welcome, but thank you, Dion. That's really, really powerful. Especially, speaking from like you're saying, like your age and what you've seen, and what I feel that's coming from you is like, wow, look at this happening before my eyes. Because we can lose hope over time, or at least in my days, I remember before the pandemic, I was just accepting that. I was like, well, I'm gonna know all these things, these truths, and these like peeking behind the veils, and I'm just gonna have to accept that I'm this tinfoil hat guy, and I'm gonna I'll just pretend that I don't know this stuff and whatever. It's like government's fucked, this is fucked, the water's fucked, food's fucked, whatever. Like no one seems to give a shit. So yeah, I'll just like kind of find some people and talk about it. Maybe I'll go to a mountain and like become a monk. And then boom, this happened, and I was like, this is my time to shine, baby. Let's get all right. It's gonna round up the Avengers and do it. So it's happening. That's what
Yes. Society's ready, people are ready, and so stoked that you guys like got the embers, like got it started, like really generated the core ready to blow.
I couldn't do without all of you. Thank you, brother. Thanks for being here. Whenever you have to go, it's all good. But I want to get one more human in here that I'm really excited to bring to the container. Zoe, I'd love you to speak on, well, the fact that I'm so grateful to have you and your expertise of like bringing in the clinic maybe you could explain, what this has been like for you, what you're bringing in, what you're passionate about. Floor is yours. Containers is yours.
Oh, thank you. So lovely to be with you all. And, so much of what you've all shared is in my heart and my story too. I think I grew up and lived out like I'll do it on my own. I'm better on my own. I don't need you. I've got the skill. Like I would do it on my own happily for a lifetime was kind of the story. Even though that wasn't what I wanted. I think we all have that like pull towards like, wow, I'd love to do it another way. And yet there's the fear, or there's a block, or there's a story that we can't have that. And, I've had similar stories to what you guys shared of like doing some sort of collaboration and you kind of get your soul sucked out, or somebody just like completely decimates your like brainchild. And this environment of like, I knew that I needed something where I felt not only safe, but also that element of like, no one's also putting you on a pedestal. Like someone's gonna call you if it's like, I don't think that's really the best you could do. And also could hold that. And I know that that environment is somewhere that we can all thrive, where people are actively lifting each other up, that there's that compassion and like calling each other in, calling each other higher. And I trust that so implicitly with this group of humans, and not just because Matthew and I started our relationship the way that we did, which was in massive conflict, and me being like, you piss me off more than anyone I've met. And then we had to swim out onto a rock in the middle of the ocean in Mexico and have it out to like air all our grievances. And that ended with us being like, I love you. You are going to be such a valuable human to my journey. And that proceeded to be like one of the most valuable friendships that I have had in the last year and a half, 2 years since that conversation, is having people in my life that I know are going to like call me up, call me out, that I can say anything to. And I think this is the other really big piece for me is that like you can do anything, say anything, be anything, and they're also not going to walk. Like you've got people in your corner regardless. You're allowed to have a bad day, you're allowed to get it wrong because we are human. And no matter what else is going on for you, like you're going to have bad days and you're going to get it wrong sometimes. And I think it's important to be around people who aren't going to leave immediately in those situations and who can hold your humanity and want to see you grow. And I think that that's kind of been my mission and how I've been living out in this realm, is helping balance that like masculine integrity of like, do what you say you're going to do, and feminine integrity of like, this is really what my system needs right now. And I've been doing that mostly through like bridging between Western healthcare and like Eastern esoteric wisdom. For the past 3 years, I've run a business that teaches essentially healthcare providers continuing education to bring them across that bridge of like, how can we bring these principles into these existing forms of people who are skilled in their different methodologies and like bringing their medicine into the world. And there's so much that can grow there. And I've been doing that and it's great and I love it. I love teaching. I love the work I do. And oh my God, I cannot do it on my own because my bandwidth, my capacity for this stuff is so low when I'm doing it all. And so being able to collaborate with people who just create such a bigger stage for all of us that we get to have like so much more ripple out when we can stay in our lane. And I think that's the biggest thing that I see with HPA, of like my ability to contribute and also to like stay in my lane and like do what I'm really good at. And I think that's such a gift for all of us in this space. And being able to, like, for me, what's really important there is being able to have people like chase that feeling that I've seen in all of you of that, like, oh my God, I want this, like that pull. I'm like, okay, let's like take on anything that gets in the way of that head on. Like, let's get that shit out of the way so you can go do that thing. Like, we need more of that in the world. We need more people who are like, I'm doing the thing that I want to be doing. And when I don't feel like doing something, I'm not doing it. When I'm not good at it, I'm going to find someone who is. And like, let's put all those pieces together. And how much better can it be? And that's like been my guiding, like that has been my personal North Star, is like, rather than how bad will you stand it, like how good will you stand it? How good can it get? before you max out? Like, what's your bandwidth? And I think that this is how good it can get. I think that it can get so much better.
Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. It's like soul food and eating it up. I forgot that wow, I forgot that Mexico. That was an interesting time. Wow. That was shifting of timelines. I wish you all were there. I was like, Matthew, we need to go to this kind of expensive but really transformational entrepreneurs retreat in Mexico. We just have to go. And Matthew just trusted me. He's like, okay, let's go. I was like, it's gonna change everything, and it did. Anyways, thank you so much, Zoe. That's really beautiful. And yeah, it's just wow. Grounding myself from all the beautiful shares. Again, all of your willingness to be here and yeah, to pour your hearts to co-create in this way. I think this is actually like just as important as the action we'll take is the words we speak. And like we said, limitless language. Don't know about all you, but it does freak me out sometimes, be like, yes, I'm creating a new earth. Like, yes, I'm embodying this energy. Like, yes, I want to cultivate more life force energy, all these things, but our ability to actually speak that to each other and land in that vibration and feel comfortable speaking those things is how we take that embodied action. So you'll give me strength. You'll help remind me that that it really is possible through this vibrational exchange and this mirroring and reflecting. So thank you. I'm gonna pass it once more over to our beautiful generator, the one and only, the 1-3, no, not the one and only, but whenever I think of 1-3 generator, I just think of Matt.
Thank you, Lion. And oh my goodness, yeah, and so filled with joy and honestly just so much excitement about what's gonna happen. Because I love like a dose of chaos, and I've had this joke with Lily lately about how like I've been making the joke about her, but it's also definitely true for me. And now that I'm thinking about it, all of us and this whole thing that we're doing, and I'm calling it like a tornado that leaves nothing, that leaves a wake of creation in its path. Because usually tornadoes come through and like there's a pathway of destruction, but ours is a tornado and it's like you see houses flying in the air and you're like, oh my God, and then it actually like lands and stacks in place. But it is a tornado that's coming through, and that's how I'm picturing all of us as individuals and this machine that we're building. So we're going to go a little bit on time. So full invitation for anybody to leave. I'm going to do a brief yet succinct breakdown on what's going on within the arc. And to add to what Lion was saying earlier, the arc is the ARC, the fun thing, and then it's a metaphor as well. And how I like to frame this is we believe the flood is coming. And what is the flood? Well, we have those 5 pillars of human potential: financial, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And the flood is the dissolving of the middle class in all 5 of those pillars. No more middle class financial, no more middle class physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And we're already in it. You can go and walk around downtown and you can see that the middle class, they're becoming more upper class or more lower class, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And so you get to choose. And we're building this arc with the hopes to put 2 of every animal and save the planet before it gets flooded, and then we can start anew. Okay, so this is really exciting. I'm gonna crack through this. I actually had to write this down because it's like it's unreal the things that are going on right now and that are just around the corner for this year and the next year. So within the academy, we have 3 types of operators. We have coaches, teachers, and consultants. Consultants are going to be working with companies. This is going to be largely led by Selena, with like guest appearances from Lion, Matthew, and honestly whoever else is called in for the job. Team of Avengers. We'll see who they need that day. And the plan is to introduce things like breath and proper oxytocin and honestly this culture into the law and financial world. That's our hope. And as you saw on the last call, We have some very exciting prospects in the future working with law firms, stockbrokers, and other companies as well. So really looking forward to that. Get those creative juices flowing. I can see Zoe. She's going into a thing right now. Some things. Yeah, you can see that happening. So that's really fun. Take a note, Selena. Look, we started a fire there. Good. Okay, we have teachers. Teachers teach kids. Okay, so that's the Youth Academy. Now, Lion alluded to this. We have a budding partnership with this woman named Tasha who's leading Unschooling. And honestly, I've been like kind of like for the past entire decade, and this will come as a surprise to some of you, but like biting my tongue about certain topics. Like I haven't been coming full out and just speaking about things. Well, thanks to all of you. I feel entirely safe and supported by a team of absolute legend. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, and I got $4. So I'm way ahead of everything now. I am good to go. I'm going to speak my full truth. And I'm quite passionate about the Youth Academy and the state of the education. And Tasha, our partner, is one of the leaders rather of this thing that's called unschooling. And unschooling is basically taking your kids out of the public education system. It's not homeschooling because homeschooling is still teaching them the same education they get in public schooling. It's unschooling. So taking them out of the public education system and properly educating them. I'm 11 weeks into my youth academy. We started with 3 kids, 2 of them in the public education system, age 16 and 15, and one 13, Tasha's son, unschooled. One of the kids dropped out because he was so anxious. The other one, completely anxious. She's so anxious and just on every single call. Rex, a 13-year-old boy, dialed, calm, doing the self-regulation practices, remembered amygdala, executive functions, cooks his own food, goes to the gym on his own, 13. When we went to school, homeschooled kids were the weird ones. Now it's totally opposite. Totally opposite. So we have a ton of really exciting things coming up with the Youth Academy later on this year. One of the things that, or in the next year, and one of the things that we want to be doing is a summit. So Tasha, I've watched her grow from 8,000 followers to near 100,000 followers in the past year and a bit. And she's just a mom that was coming on and being like, the system's fucked and I took my kid out and I can help you too. And she just scaled. And now she has this PR. And so we want to do this summit whenever the time is good to do it. And and that is going to be to help parents that either already have or are interested in taking their kids out of the public education system and going down this unschooling route. And we are going to be the first line of educating kids. And so what I'm suspecting is going to happen whenever we do this summit is we are going to need teachers. Now, whether that's us teaching, which it probably will be, or other teachers that are trying to leave the education system, either way, it's going to be something massive. And so we have awesome things budding up with those. I'm doing a masterclass, a seminar, basically on executive functions and how messed up that my experience has been working with the public education versus the unschooling kids. And then Lion has actually been requested to come and do basically like a sex ed for parents for kids through Tasha's online program the following month. And so we have a beautiful relationship with her. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody involved in the ARC had some sort of workshop to deliver. And she's just like, yep, promote your thing. Just promote your thing. I want you to get clients. I want to build this thing. And I can see there being like a collaboration of us working with parents and kids at the same time and actually doing like family containers. And so obviously I'm incredibly lit up about that. For the Academy. Okay, so we have high ticket. We have this high ticket offer that Lion, Selena, Anthony, and I have been kind of cooking up. And it's basically going to be this like copy paste model of like, it doesn't matter if you do it the way Matthew did, the way Lion did, or the way Selena did, which are all very different. If you're a coach with Anthony's majesty, that's not the right word, but his majesty, we can create you to be a 20 to 30K a month coach. Whether you do it that way, this way, or that way, we can do it. And so we're currently in the process of proving that model. And so we're going to be basically come get coached by us, pay us this big chunk of money. We're going to show you to make 20 to 30K. And then when you're done, if you want to join us, you can, or if you want to go do it all by your own, you can. But either way, you're going to be able to hop in and do this. So that's very, very exciting. And then there's 3 other things that's going on in the academy. One is actively going on, and this just kind of started to happen, and it's one of the coolest freaking business models I've ever seen. And it's doing group containers and then recording it and turning them into evergreen programs. It's the most awesome thing. Like Lily and I are getting paid $4,000 to make an evergreen program right now because we got 20 guys at $200, and we'll hop on, package it. Now you've got an evergreen program. Lion and I have already done it. This is going to be definitely a repeat business model because it's so, so good, which leads me into the archives. So the archives is something that I've been like just like marinating on for years. Like before I feel like I was even a coach, I wanted to figure out how can we get so much value into people and they don't have to go $250,000 in debt to go get this type of information. And then I brought this up to Anthony. He's like, "Oh, look at this thing." He's like, "Yeah, I already have this thing kind of ready to do. I haven't been doing it because I've been doing this other thing with other people, but it's definitely a thing." And we're like, "You just described what I've been trying to describe to people." And so very, very excited to watch this come together as we develop out our evergreen programs and just provide so much value for our communities. And finally, and this is a very exciting, very exciting thing is, and something that I'm somewhat laughing at, which is making certifications within the academy. Because one thing that I've chuckled at is I don't have any certifications. Lion doesn't have any certifications, and people are like, "What certifications do you have? Can you do breathwork? Can you do breathwork, Lion? I don't know if you can do it." And trauma informed, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't have the things, but I get results and I help people and I know what I'm talking about. And one of the things that I'm really stoked about is the first set of certificate that we're going to be making is with Lily, because Lily has just so many different things. She's trained with so many awesome people. She's got so many, but we're going to make a certificate. I think it's going to be the easiest hanging fruit for us to actually develop the certification process, as she is deeply mastered in an arena that people are just so lost in the Western world, especially in Vancouver and these arenas. So after that, I would love to see, honestly, all of us go through some sort of making a certification, because we're all absolute geniuses with a wide array of knowledge that can be boiled down into something. And so really looking forward to watch these certifications be something. We've got a whole bunch of really fun plans for like once you get certified. So for example, like people can't pay Lily the 10K to work with her. They've only got 3K. Oh, well, don't worry. I've got a disciple that took my certification and now you can get the 3K client. So we can make this kind of like tier-based model of these things. Okay, cracking through this. Retreats and experiences. This is super exciting because I'm watching this grow in real time and didn't realize how much this actually mattered to me until I actually stepped into the hosting and facilitating, whether it's individual one-on-one or these slightly larger groups. And so for the retreats and experiences, we have 2 things that are full steam ahead and one thing that is incredibly exciting that really kind of encapsulates how I really envision this retreats and experiences going in this short to mid-term. So obviously we have our flagship HICA, which now has quite a reputation in Vancouver. I haven't mentioned this to anybody yet, but I have people asking me about this often. When's the next one? When's the next one? I heard so many things about the last one. So it's great. I think we're at the point now where we won't even really need to market. We just kind of hit up our list and the tickets are going to sell because people want to come. They heard about it. They talked about it, especially that last one. We obviously have Sacred Rhythm coming up in Peru, which I am just like, I can't even kind of like fathom what's going to happen because it's just going to be so freaking epic. And like props to Lion for plugging that in and Selena for taking it away. People keep going like, "Hey, have you considered?" I'm like, I don't even know. Ask them. "Hey, how much is the DVB?" I don't know. Oh, like, hey, I don't know. Ask me about the Youth Academy. Those are Lion and Selena questions, which really encapsulates the amazement of this arc. Like, there's a whole epic thing going on over there, and I don't know. I'm going to show up and facilitate parts that I'm asked to facilitate. It's just such a cool thing, and that's been pretty similar with the Youth Academy too. All of a sudden, like I'm just like, boom, they're like, wait, you did what? What? So it's so fun being like not involved, but involved in these different divisions, just growing at astounding speeds. So yeah, just props to you guys for making this happen, because yeah, I couldn't have, and I'm just so excited because it makes it real, right? It goes from potential to kinetic energy now. Finally, we are probably 2 steps away from making it where I'm locking it in to going to Hong Kong for May. And there's an invitation, just so you guys know, invitation. If you happen to have talent and like to facilitate and want to make a shitload of money in a city where people can afford it, there's an invitation for you. And we're looking to do this May. This is obviously as a byproduct of Lily being plugged into that community. Basically, they have like so many retreats. There's so many different locations and a lack of facilitators, a lack of people that have the ability to facilitate. And to put us in comparison, we sell Hika tickets here for 60 Canadian, and we could easily sell them there for 250 Canadian. The entire budget going there is about 4,000 Canadian, and we could literally easily make that in a day. And so our game plan is to host a lot over week 1, week 2, week 3, all the while promoting a 2 to 3 day retreat at the end of the month in Hong Kong. And so I kind of have this vision of us being like known as this, like, we can show up in your city and just like, boom, oh, like you have a venue and you need it to be like spiced up. We'll bring in the Avengers and we'll hop in, we'll draw a crowd, we'll make it a good look. We'll all make piles of money. We'll heal the world. It's going to be awesome. And Hong Kong is the perfect place to do it because they're open to things like traditional Chinese medicine. And it's the most expensive city on the planet because they have the most money. So really excited to do that and make this a kinetic thing, really make it international. So that's around the corner. Stay tuned. I got the whiteboard. It's all filled out there. You guys would be really excited. Bye, Josh. Finally, we have C for culture, which encapsulates clinic and community. And so community for me, we have free community calls every week. It's been so amazing just watching the evolution of these things, different facilitators really bringing forward different flavors. And as I've witnessed this go forward, there's been times like, we got, it's not cohesive, like we're just doing a thing, it doesn't make sense, and really what I'm seeing from this is it's going to change, but what matters is that it's a safe place to show up. Safe place to show up every single Monday evening. And it's been so nourishing for several of the people that have been consistent with it. And I see this evolving into the archives. We have the clinic coming forward, which I don't want to talk too much about, only because there's so many different like intricacies to figure out. After speaking with Zoe, speaking with Kevin, and then speaking with my absolutely ambitious buddy Ivan, who is heading this due to his awesome connections and incredibly high IQ. It's a very intricate undertaking that definitely can get done with all of these geniuses behind it. And the main point of this is to have a cohesive operation where people aren't separated, where the information isn't separated, and where we can actually basically design like a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to biohack you into optimization. So our clinics are not starting out as a place to heal people. They're starting out a place to optimize the elite. So it's not a place where if you have an owie to go get healed. It's a place where if you're making $250,000 a year and you're working 60 hours a week and you need more energy and more muscles and to get better and better and better, that's the type of clinic that we're operating. And so at least to start. So I'm really excited to watch this come together. It's going to be really magic. And then this one's fun because it's nothing yet, but it's definitely going to be something probably as soon as like June or July. And I'm calling it communications. I always had this dream of having this little show called The Good News, where I just hopped on a couple minutes a week and I just told people about the good news that's going on in the planet, because there is good news going on in the planet. And seeing as right now I'm talking with you guys, it's obviously going to be our podcast that gets fired up in the house because there's going to be so much spicy, yummy stuff that comes from that. And so the communication is really for me this like broadcasting of like a beacon, like the lighthouse, like Selena's name, which could even be a thing. But just communicating to people essentially the essence of what we are doing, all the seriousness, all the playfulness, and all of the wisdom ultimately and hope that we actually have to provide. So that would be a summation of the arc, what's going on right now and what is coming up in the future. Yay. Oh my God, there's so many chats going on. You guys were exploding in there. Yeah. Love you guys so much. We've definitely gone over a bit here. So I'm just going to invite everyone. We're going to do a couple double breaths and then we can exit out of here. So clearing breath with me, just exit all the air, really squeeze it out. Get it all out. Let's fill our lungs all the way to the top, to the sides. Squeeze in some more. Push out your diaphragm. And exhale with a sigh. Another one. Picture those lungs expanding to the side. A little more. Push those rib cage out. And with a sigh. Last one. Biggest breath yet. A little more. Push it down. And relax your shoulders. It's so good. Thank you all. I'm so deeply grateful for you. You guys are my reason for living, and you just give me so much hope and excitement for everything that we're doing. And I wish you all a fantastic night and a good sleep. And we'll talk to y'all probably immediately after in the chat, would be my guess. So love you guys. That was really fun. Mwah. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys. You did so well.
Thank you. Bye.